a very prominent friend of mine told me a story. I haven't checked with him whether I can share this story with you, so I won't tell you who it was, but you definitely know who he is. He was telling me about a time before he was famous, when he found himself in a railway carriage, and he's a Jewish lad, and football fans, two skinheads, were chanting and singing about gas chambers and indulging in some of the more hideous abuse and vitriol that football fans used to, and in some cases very sadly still do, deploy. And he boiled over and shouted from the other end of the rail carriage, "Can you please stop that, please?" Everybody else kind of went silent, but one of the skinheads comes stalking down the train towards him and sort of pokes him on the forehead with his finger, asking him if he is Jewish, and he goes, "Yes, I am, actually." And then he sort of endured a tirade of vitriol. It was hideous, actually. Later, his dad was absolutely livid. His dad said, you silly boy, you could have got into so much trouble. You could have got into I was admiring, but also sympathetic to his father's position, because you can't always stand up to bullies. And in those circumstances, I don't think he'd do it now, and partly because he'd be too famous. But in those circumstances, what would you advise your friend to do? What if the headmaster is the bully? I had a headmaster as a young boy who was a terrible bully, a violent, vicious bully. Would you stand up to him, or would you put an awful amount of effort into trying to keep him sweet? And that brings us to Keir Starmer and Donald Trump.